borderless, public institution, voluntary consent, resilient parallel societies, maximize the cost of surveillance, minimize the cost of exit. Trust, minimize corruption, resistant, undeserved citizens. Decentralized, decentralized.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's edition of the Logos Dev Club. I am your host, Chair. I'm here to prop you up. We have quite an exciting one for you folks today, wherever you are watching. I'd like to lead with. We do see the chat, whether it is on X or YouTube. The live chat does work, and if you have questions at any times or comments or exclamations at all, please use the chat. We can see things. We will and want to interact with you. The Logos Dev Club will come to you, does come to you every week with varied focuses depending on what is hot that week. We will also be doing language clubs a la Rust, Nim, Solidity, if that's what you want, Viper, if that's what you want. Really, it's up to the people to determine the focus of the Logos Dev Club, but we want to and will and have been highlighting projects and people and implementers of the Logos core stack. And there is so much news and things to talk about Logos at the moment that I can't possibly get to it all. It is on you to go to logos.co, follow logos_network and logos_devs on X. Join the Logos forum at forum.logos.co. Dive deep into the documentation, the litany of GitHub repositories that spread across all of the Logos core stack. There is much to be excited for this year. One of those things is the Parallel Societies event, the counterculture convergence happening this March in Lisbon, Portugal. Go to PS, as in parallelsocieties.logos.co. Register for your tickets immediately. If you are a project that would like to be involved with other projects like NIM and MoneroCon and Tor and many more, then we are excited to be involved with you. Go to ps.logos.co. All right, on this stream with me today are a few other more notable, I might say, Logos core contributors. They are Václav and Arseny, respectively. Hello, folks. Thank you for being here. And today, I am delighted to bring on our guest, who is a man who was reared deep in the Inland Empire, now residing in the city of Syrup. He is active in the Ethereum streets on multiple fronts. His affiliations include DevRel at Edge and Node, aka The Graph. He is a contributor, builder at the BuidlGuidl, contributing to the Scaffold-ETH stack. He's the founder of the Genesis community, and he is the builder of the brand new Spritz.chat. He is Shutterblock.eth, aka Kevin Jones. Kevin, welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Very excited to have you. We have overlap in terms of our origins and roots.
Yeah.
Perhaps we'll get into on the back end here. Certainly in our interest, I'm very excited about your involvement with BuidlGuidl and Scaffold-ETH, as I still remember vividly my call with Austin in 2021 as he onboarded me to Scaffold-ETH.
Nice.
I was a noob then. I'm still a noob, but it was little details like that bring, that create an entity like BuidlGuidl, and excited to get into your community growth and involvement and engagement strategies and how things have gone on your Ethereum journey, if we can call it that. But most specifically is you are working on Spritz.chat currently, and can you tell us a little bit about that app, how long its life has been up to this point, what has gone into it, and how Logos is featured within it?
Yeah. So it's definitely in the early stages. It was kind of a funny story. That the reason why Spritz came to be is my wife, she's Russian, and she was recently trying to call her mom because, in Russia, like there's basically a lot of censorship, specifically right now when it comes to video conferencing, and she couldn't with WhatsApp, Telegram, a lot of different tools she tried, she just couldn't get it to work. And so she was like messaging me, and I was actually in Abu Dhabi for work, and she's like, "Hey, I can't reach my mom." And then I tried to call her there as well. And in Dubai, you're also, or well, in United Arab Emirates, you're also censored to use any kind of like video chats. I couldn't even use anything to call her. So I actually built this as a little bit of a side project for her. And some of the core, critical things that I wanted to solve was censorship resistance, right? Being able to let anyone be able to communicate freely, make it in a truly decentralized way as much as possible, and make it permissionless so anybody can get in at any time and be able to like contact their loved ones or friends. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it came to be. Been working on it for about 3 months now, and I'm looking for people to test. We also have some really cool stuff coming down the line, integrated wallets, smart wallets, and we're also adding AI agents. And there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do with Spritz.
And the choice of using Logos messaging, nay Waku, now Logos messaging, how did that decision come to pass, or sort of what was the inspiration point or inception point of that library making it into your code?
Yeah, so I actually started, the first iteration was using XMTP, and I was starting to run into a lot of limitations. Like obviously it's a Ethereum protocol. Definitely had some issues with like getting it to work reliably. And so I started searching, and I've actually been following Logos for a while, and I know they're very like active in the privacy and in this kind of like realm of like trying to solve these problems. So I started looking at the Waku SDK, now the Logos messaging, and I was kind of surprised how actually easy it was to set up. And now it's obviously it's a core part of what I built. Essentially, you can like create a channel. It's end-to-end encrypted. You can also spin up like private rooms. And yeah, there's like a lot of really rich features that I got out of it. And yeah, it was an obvious choice. There wasn't really anything out there that really checked all the boxes for me and for the app. So yeah, it was pretty easy to integrate.
That's incredible and encouraging to hear, and very exciting to hear. If you would like to take us through some of the
Absolutely.
functionality of Spritz, I would love to see it.
Yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen here. So can you guys see my screen okay?
We are good.
Awesome, cool. So yeah, so if anyone wants to check it out, so you can go to spritz.chat just to kind of get access to, like, there's a docs for it. There's a GitHub repo. So I wanted to make everything open source and transparent, obviously. And you can kind of read a little bit about, some of the features. You can see what it's powered by and whatnot. And you can just click open app. And this will basically open Spritz for you. Spritz is a PWA app, so you can install it inside of your Chrome browser. You can add it to your home screen on your phone as well. We also support like multiple ways for users to log in, right? So obviously the number one method probably for a lot of the users is going to be able to connect a wallet. So you can basically connect. We're using Wallet Connect, so you can connect with an existing wallet. One of the other things that I wanted to also solve for is, like, I also allow Solana users to connect. So if you have a Solana wallet and you want to talk across from Ethereum to Solana, you can do that. And so you can connect your wallet standardly. You can also log in with email. So we basically are creating an account for you under the hood by email verification. And then we're in the process of setting up smart accounts for those as well. So you'll actually have like a smart account that you can utilize in Spritz with account abstraction that allows you to interact with AI agents or whatever you need in the app. Or you can do passkeys. So the passkeys you can store obviously inside of your browser. You can sync them across devices. So it's a really easy way for anyone who's like very non-crypto, doesn't really know. Email or passkey is definitely a really quick, easy way. You can just give this to your mom. We literally tried this with my wife's mom, and she was able to log in and set up an account really, really quickly. Or you can use a human identity digital ID. So you can sign in with World ID. You can sign in with Alien ID. Same thing, we're going to create an account for you and do that. So I guess for the sake of demo, I'll just use my wallet here. So I'll connect in with EVM.
My first question for you is a wallet created for a user who signs in with passkey? Or
So
is that
currently right
email
now,
only?
so currently email only. The identity right now is going to be tied to your email address. But we are in the process of adding the ability to create a wallet under the hood. So you'll actually have a smart account that is tied to that passkey. But that's a TBD, and it should be released probably actually in the next week or so. But yeah, good question.
Nice.
And definitely something we definitely want to add. So yeah, so you can see here, like I'm logged in as Grixel.eth, which is one of my aliases online. I have many. And we can see here that we have like an ability to go to friends, and you can essentially search for someone. If you add someone, you can just do it by their like Spritz username. So as a user comes in, they can claim a username that's unique to Spritz, and then you can just share that username. You can also verify your email. You can add your phone number. You can also add all of your socials so that people can like get access to your social links. You can also manage your passkeys in here if you want to create a passkey for your account. And then it kind of will make a recommendation if you don't have an ENS or an SNS that maybe you should get one. And we do have this like point system as well. But yeah, so we could be able to come in here. We can add people by their Spritz name, or you can add them just by their ENS name. So if I was to do a search for Vitalik.eth, we would basically resolve, that did not resolve properly, but try it again. There might be a little bit of a bug there, but here we have Vitalik.eth. So if Vitalik.eth was registered on Spritz, we could send him a request. Obviously, that's not going to work, but we support Spritz usernames, ENS. We also support if you just paste in their address, so it's really easy. You can add a little note or like a nickname to the person that you add. And then for the chats, you can come in here and just send a message. So like I use this one just to send messages to myself. So the minute you log in, we're creating a Waku-like client inside of the browser, and we're basically establishing connections the minute you start a chat. So we can say like, hello. We also have this like cool little feature, which I think is pretty neat, where you can send pixel art. So you can do like a little pixel art here, and then you can basically send that to your friend, which is quite interesting as well. Just kind of a fun little thing to do. There's one guy, Jeff from Logos, who loves that feature, and he makes some really awesome memes. We'll show that off here in a second. Then there's also these like kind of like global channels. These are like public channels that anyone can join to just kind of like chat, ask questions, just whatever. So there's ones on different topics, Ethereum, privacy, stuff like that. Or you can also create your own. So if you want to invite friends to a special group, this is also going to be powered by Logos. And you can basically create this confined room where everyone can communicate in an end-to-end encrypted way. Or you can like browse existing rooms that are public that are like kind of just again, more for like public communication. You can see we have some for like Houston Web3. Someone's created Bitcoin. Someone's created a couple of different things here. And so it's a way to just instantly be able to start talking with your friends. And then we have this really cool feature that's kind of in beta. So we have an ability to, if you log into Spritz, you can apply for the beta. We're looking for people to beta test it, but you can create unique AI agents for you. So these can be published AI agents. So I can kind of walk through that real quickly. It's actually quite cool. So when you create an agent, you can choose like some kind of like basic, templates, or you can start from scratch. So we'll just do one here. We'll just call him, I don't know, Frank. And we'll give him like a little emoji, and we'll be like, Frank is super, I don't know, cool and loves music. And we can make it private just to my friends. So I can basically like give this URL to my friends, and as long as they're my friend, they can get access to it. If you make it public, you can assign some tags to it. So to give you an example, what I always like to show off like the graph, I'll do the graph, and I'll do subgraphs here, and I'll do data, right? So I can give them a couple tags and create this agent. Once I create this agent, I can actually come in here and I can give him a knowledge base, right? So these are, if anyone's familiar with like AI agents, you have this concept of RAG lookups. So these are like indexed places that you can basically index data from, and it's like put into that agent's knowledge graph. So I'll just do graph node GitHub real quick just to show you as an example. And we'll just say we have this GitHub repo, and we want to provide this to the agent. We can paste it in here, add it, and then we can index it, right? So now this GitHub repo is inside of the agent's knowledge base, right? Then on top of that, we can go in and also configure, sorry, that's the wrong agent. We can configure additional settings for him, and we can turn things on and off. Like if we want to make sure that he has web search or does not have access to web search, if you want to disable that knowledge base. If you want to give him access to a specific MCP server or an API, you can enable that. You can also give him access to your schedule. So one thing I didn't cover yet is inside the settings here, you can link your Google Calendar, and you can basically set up availability windows. And you get similar to what like you get with Calendly, you get this kind of like special link that you have that you can share with people, and they can schedule time with you, right? So they have access to your calendar. So it's kind of a drop-in replacement for Calendly. And we also have this like public profile link as well. So like if we come right here and we paste in this public link, we'll get access to his calendar, but we also get access to any of his public agents. So you can see here we've created Frank. He's already available, and you can basically chat with him. And inside of that AI agent, you can add specific APIs for him to have access to. So like, let's say we wanted to give him access to a specific subgraph or a particular API that maybe you own that has like information, or an MCP server. Like let's say you have an MCP server, like the graph has our subgraph MCP server, you can add that. And you can basically like kind of build out these kind of like smart little agents that you can then share with your friends. So the next thing we're going to be adding is you can actually pull in an agent into a conversation, and you can start talking with that agent inside the group. So you can imagine it might be useful if you like starting up a community and you want to make sure that community has access to, you know, the calendar of events or like whatever is important to that community. This AI agent would be there. He would constantly be kind of listening, and you could kind of chat with him. And we're going to be extending this. And then one other thing too, is for both the scheduling here aspect, you can set up a window that is paid and free. So you can set up like, okay, I want to receive 30-minute meetings, but maybe you also want to like charge for like 1 hour or 2 hour sessions where maybe you like are a consultant, or you're like, I don't know, doing something that people want to like meet with you and discuss something, and you teach something. You can create these, and these are all X402 enabled payment APIs. So in order to schedule a priority session, I need to pay this amount of money in whatever the fee is. Yeah, so if we go back to agents, we go to Frank, we can also turn on here inside the agent, we can turn on X402 capabilities for the agent. So like, let's say you want this agent to be public, but you want to charge a nominal fee for access to the agent. You can also do that. You can specify a pay to address. You can put in the price that you want to for each particular message. And then once you do that, you basically get, let me close this real quick. Down here on the bottom, you get some public endpoints that you can share or embed in your application. So we have like this very like extensive way for you to build an AI agent, and then kind of like make that public, or you might want to integrate it into your existing application. So we're looking for people that maybe like, I don't know, you have a website, or you have some kind of like dev portal, and people need to be able to interact with this agent. You can interact and paste this in there. So a lot of cool features there. And again, we also are going to be adding a smart account wallet that you'll get as well. So eventually these AI agents also could be funded. So you could have AI agents talking to other agents, and making transactions and getting access to each other's information. Like maybe, you know, Frank is my personal assistant, and I want to give him to someone else, and they want to schedule some time, and there's an X402 payment required. Using a smart account, we could kind of like leverage that and give your agent some money to be able to get access and make payments. So a lot of cool features around that coming.
And X402, is that on base primarily, or is there other networks available?
Yeah, so
X402 payment.
Yeah, so you can choose the network. So right now we have Base, Ethereum, Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon, and then we have Base Tapolia configured in case someone wants to like just do some testing. But we do support all those chains. I think we'll probably add a lot more. I think currently that's a pretty good subset, and I'm looking to add more. So if you have any feedback on what should be added, I'd love to hear it.
Questions from Václav or Arseny?
Can I be the asshole in the room?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I have basically two questions. First of all, what AI, what LLM, what provider does it use, and who pays for it? Because obviously running these agents is not going to be free.
Yeah.
And if I can just create 5 agents and people actually use them, someone has to pay for the inference, right?
Yeah, so I think currently, so we're using Gemini. I'm using Gemini. I think I want to add more models to like a selection where people can kind of pick their own model. I'll probably, yeah, you're right. I think in this beta kind of like mode that I'm in, I'm not charging people anything so they can spin them up. I think in the future there might be like a nominal subscription fee or some kind of method where we're keeping track of tokens and giving a certain limit amount of the agent's usage and then billing on that. I think my first priority right now is like finding actually use cases that make sense for the agents and kind of like testing their functionality first before worrying about that. Because I think actually the core part of the application right now is really the messaging and the video chat. And the AI agents is kind of just like a thing on top that I'm kind of experimenting with.
Yeah, I mean, the AI agent apparently has a lot of coolness factor, so I understand that. I was just curious. I don't know if you have ever looked into Venice AI and how they do charging for the API. I think that would be very useful for this because you're basically not charged, right, with the DMs.
Yeah, I love Venice AI. I was an early user of Venice AI like before they launched. Yeah, that's a good call out. I think what they've done is good, and they've kind of like tokenized the AI aspect and done it in a private way. And I think that's actually one of my next endeavors is trying to figure out how to make the AI as private as possible as well, because obviously using Gemini, is probably not the overall best solution.
I don't want to talk about the privacy part of Venice AI. I'm not 100% convinced. But the API access where you don't actually waste money on the API calls is an interesting thing with the DMs. And second asshole question is, where is all the data stored? Because if I make a friend, if I create these agents, it has to go somewhere, right? So how is it stored? If you say that you are trying to call someone or message someone in Russia, if it's stored on a centralized server, they still have to have access to it, or would it work? Can we message or talk even if we don't have access to the storage, wherever it is?
No, that's also a good call. So the first iteration, like everything was basically stored inside the browser, but you obviously have this issue where you basically can't do that. That's not going to work permanently. So you do need some place to pour it. Right now, currently, I am using Supabase for some of the stuff, but I'm using obviously all the top security that I can on as far as like using RLS policies and keeping things as secure as possible, obviously. But I think in the future, I'll probably look at some kind of method of doing like something like DefraDB or one of these other like decentralized databases. I think what I start to really have issues with is how you deal with the censorship of the IP and the censorship of that, which obviously at some point someone could be like, oh, well, Spritz is a problem, we need to censor it. So I think the end all would be have like fallbacks. I actually really like the way that Logos does it, where they have all of these providers that are online. And I don't know if that's something that I can maybe put together with Logos, but it would be interesting to figure out a way to have these IPs that are changing, that combination with like a VPN. Maybe it's a little less censorship resistant or more censorship resistant. I'd love to hear your thoughts there.
Yeah. I mean, for browser, I don't have a great answer right now, but because there is always the Logos storage doesn't really work with browser, because storage and accessing decentralized storage and pushing decentralized storage in browser is just an unsolved problem still, I think. But yeah, well, we can definitely talk about it and think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kevin, you mentioned Logos messaging is currently active in the chat and in the group chats as well, or soon to be in the group chats. And I assume also, well, if people are interacting or chatting with the agents in there. That's interesting. Is there anywhere else in the stack besides those aforementioned two where Logos messaging might show up? And could they possibly, could the queries to the agents themselves be a logos message potentially?
That would be interesting. So I guess once I have the agents using a dedicated smart account, technically speaking, yeah, the channel could be probably established using some method over logos. That's actually a good feature. So like, yeah, right now the direct IMs between users are all using logos messaging. The group chats with like people where they're invite only are all using. Currently, the public groups are not, but I do want to switch those to use logos as well, because that's something I think is important as well. Because those, I mean, they are public rooms. Anyone can kind of like join in it permissionlessly, but I think it makes sense to put them there as well.
That would be very interesting. Before I pepper you with more logos questions and when questions, would we like to try to execute a video call here live?
Oh, that would be awesome.
May the
Yeah.
demo gods smile upon us. All right. Initiate said call now.
I'm gonna try. So I'm gonna share my screen. Shared. And I'm gonna try to call Arseny. Let's see if you can all see it. I can see my screen, so I'm assuming everybody else can as well.
Yep.
And I'm gonna try to video call Arseny now. And it didn't do anything. Oh, it did. It's just slow. Camera off. Okay. Is it doing something?
Here we go.
Okay.
Oh
yeah. Woo. All right.
The proof is in the pudding.
Again, yeah, you can kind of hear him through the headphones. Yeah, and you know what's great about this is, again, it's this, so that this is using decentralized tech, right? So again, I think it's a really cool, and you have you have some selectors there where you can adjust. It should work.
Yeah, maybe now. Okay, say something, Arseny.
Did you say something else? Oh, still coming out of the headphones.
I think in terms of a proof of
functionality,
functionality,
it's coming through. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does it work? I don't know. I can't hear. Yeah, whatever.
I
mean,
heard
you
it
can
coming
see
through your headphones
on my screen, and you could hear him from my headphones. So it's magic.
Awesome.
I think that qualifies as a success. You know, it's really interesting. Like, you know, this is certainly maybe exactly even why Logos needs to exist, and the problem that you were facing and the solution that you were able to work around with this implementation is it's very interesting, to say the least, very inspiring to say the least. And this is certainly very encouraging to see it being picked up this way and used in this, you know, Logos core tech being used in this way. If you can talk a little bit about, Kevin, if you used any vibe coding functionality to create this, and how it interacted with Logos messaging, aka Waku, or if you even offloaded that part of it to it at all.
Yeah, no, a large number of this application was built with AI. I'll tell you guys, like, if there's any developers out there right now and they're not using, you know, Claude Code or Cursor, like, you're gonna get left in the dust. Opus 4.5 is ridiculously good at building applications. Majority of this application was actually built with AI assistance. There was obviously some stuff where I needed to kind of go in there and debug, but for the logo stuff, it was very, very clear and easy to do. I just gave it the docs, and it was able to spin it up. If you look at, like, if you go, so the GitHub is public, and you look, there's been 479 commits on this project since I launched it. And so, you know, utilizing Cursor, Opus 4.5 is a no-brainer. Everyone should be using it. It's ridiculously good.
That is That's incredible and also very exciting and encouraging. Something that was very exciting for me was when the what was it, LLMs-fool.txt was included in the Scaffold-ETH stack, which
Yeah.
you have, and that talk about revolutionizing my ability to ship actually useful stuff
Yeah.
with Scaffold-ETH. Oh boy, I want to give a big hug to whoever put that together. And shout out to them. Can you talk about your involvement with the BuidlGuidl a little bit, and maybe from the perspective of wherever in its life you came in or joined it, and what what it has become, and sort of how it's become a springboard for
Yeah.
some developers to get into the scene?
Yeah, it's actually it's a really cool story. And I'm gonna have to take you down memory lane because every time I tell it, I really love it. So it actually is funny. So when I first started getting into crypto, I actually worked for Nginx. I don't know if you guys know Nginx, #1 used web server, reverse proxy, Russian software as well. Not that I'm Russian, but you know what I mean. And I was working there, and I was really, really interested in Ethereum. I was kind of like diving down the rabbit hole of like smart contracts and understanding why Ethereum even exists and like why the price has been going up. And this was back in like 2019, before COVID. And I decided I was going to start going to crypto events. And I was trying to figure out a way that I could go that would make sense. And so I started doing photography. So I've been a photographer since high school, and I kind of was doing like that as like for fun on the side, like shooting people's portraits and stuff like that, events. And so I started shooting crypto events. So one of my first Ethereum events was ETH Denver. I think it was 2019, or it might have been 2019. It might have been 2021. I can't remember, somewhere in that realm. And I had already heard about Austin. I was like a user of Scaffold-ETH, highly like fanboy of Scaffold-ETH. And I saw Austin's talk. He came on right before or right after the mayor came on. And or I think it was the governor, actually, I can't remember. So I took his picture, and then as he was kind of off stage, I said, "Hey, what's up? You know, nice to meet you. Like, you're awesome. I watch all your videos. I'm a Scaffold-ETH user." And I had tweeted a picture of him on stage, and I showed him, and he's like, "Oh, that's so awesome." So he added me as a friend and followed me. And I just was like making workshops on my own. I would just come home, make a workshop about Solidity, about Scaffold-ETH, and to post it on X. I mean, I did like a webinar for my work about Ethereum and like building on Scaffold-ETH. And I started kind of like just posting stuff, and he saw my feed and he saw some of the workshops he did, and he was like, he like messaged me, he's like, "You need to do more of this." He's like, "How about you like help out with the Build Guild more?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll be in Amsterdam for ETH. I think it was Dev Connect. Is either DevCon? No, it was Dev Connect, Amsterdam." And I was set up to do the ETH Global Hackathon. So I was actually the official photographer for the ETH Global Hackathon. And so I met up with him, and he's like, "Hey, like, I'm about to get on a boat ride. You want to come with me?" And I was like, "Oh, sure, no problem." So I stashed my camera away, and we literally got on a boat, and we were driving around the canals. We got into an accident in the boat, by the way. The boat stalled on us. We were stuck in the middle of the canal. And he's like, "Hey, like, you know, like your stuff's really good. I'd love for you to like be more of a contributor." And so it was then on that basically I would do the BuidlGuidl Scaffold-ETH workshop at some of the events that like Austin couldn't make it at. And then I would also shoot the event. So by this time I was like very, 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 very involved in Ethereum. I was like building some apps, like helping out with the DevRel aspects. And that's when, right around that time, I think it was 2022-ish, that I started working for the Graph Protocol full time. So it was a fun little story of how I got into it.
That's very cool. In 21, Austin, probably against his own best judgment at the time, put out I don't know, like one-click meeting setup. What are they? Whatever. Those meetings. He's like, anybody that wants to get put on to Scaffold-ETH, just set up a meeting with me, and he took me through it. And that was, I still remember, because I was babysitting my neighbor's dog, and had resolved to just sitting in his living room because the dog decided to make a mess everywhere. So it was during that fiasco that I got to meet with, and it has been 5 years since then, and that's more than a little trippy. The Scaffold-ETH extensions are a very interesting feature of the stack, and anyone who's listening and inspired to create Logos core extensions in the Scaffold-ETH stack for Logos messaging or storing or storage or any of the other Logos network things might be coming out. This is your sign. Go forth and do it. It's been something I've been wanting to see and incapable of doing myself for about 1.5 years. But go out there. The opportunity is there, folks. But are there any particular extensions that are your favorites, or something that's like an automatic include when you're doing a new Scaffold-ETH project?
I mean, I definitely have to call out the graph protocol, the subgraph one, right? But I would say, yeah, there's a ton of extensions. I built a couple extensions myself, and they're really easy to set up. There's like a really cool tool now that will like really help you like scaffold one out. It gets a little more complex if you're like adding a lot of packages and like modifying the existing code. But if you're just trying to like strap stuff on, it's like really, really simple. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. There's an X402 extension, which is good for if anyone doesn't know X402, you can just kind of set it up out of the box. But yeah, the subgraph one would have to be the call out because I'm a maintainer on it. So
it totally makes sense. Like seems like there's some overlap between the Genesis community, which I know you are also a founder of, and the BuidlGuidl. And if you could talk about Genesis a little bit, and just overall how I don't know, call it rewarding, or at least a good experience it is to be involved in these types of developer community initiative. I mean, it seems like you must like it a little bit with the inception of Genesis, but sort of like what you put into it, what you get out of it, and some success stories maybe that you've seen through the scene.
Yeah. So for anyone like listening and that doesn't know what Genesis is, so Genesis is last year, like I found that kind of like I'm highly involved in the Ethereum community, obviously, doing a lot of hackathons, going to a lot of hacker houses, going to a lot of events, talking to a lot of people. And there's only so much you can do, especially when we're like a global kind of like organized unit, that I wanted to try to bring it more online. And so, the BuidlGuidl has Speedrun Ethereum, which is like amazing, right? You can go on Speedrun Ethereum and you can like take these challenges and, you can basically like test your abilities. At some point you get to a point where you're like, okay, well, now I'm ready to go to the next level, right? So I want to like build an app, or I want to, get some more like hand holding, right? There's definitely these like missing gaps, like even after you go through everything in Speedrun Ethereum, where you're going to have to network with people. And so the reason why I built Genesis, which is Genesis is kind of like a builder platform. So you can go on there, you can connect your wallet, you can connect your GitHub, you can connect all this stuff, and it will build up a profile. It will score you, give you a builder score. And then you can find mentors or become a mentor on there. So like, let's say you're looking for someone that, you've been like building your vibe coding, you built this cool app, but you still need someone that knows tokenomics, or you still need someone that knows data, or you need, something that's like out of the realm of what you've probably been learning. This kind of like helps you find those people. And so it's a directory. People can make their app public. There's some like learning stuff on there too. So if you just want to go on there and like take some learning modules, we're also building some really cool stuff to be added to it soon, which is this cool, I'm integrating a new thing that we're working on called Lore. So there's a lot of really cool ways that you can kind of like build your profile. And so for me, that was my way of like going another step above and being able to be more on a internet level, I would say, like taking what I can learn and trying to get more people involved and kind of almost like replicate yourself, and kind of give people access to each other.
It's incredible. And, certainly hearkening back to when I was trying to learn a thing or two about software, these types of communities are integral, essential to be able to grow and sort of see how you can, to have an example for how you can grow and progress outside of the classic path, whatever that classic path definition is now, which I think it certainly changes from time to time. One question I try to ask everyone, people talk about it's happened too many times for me. Even I've lost count. People talk about a spiritual or a religious moment happening either with when it's Bitcoin being described for the first time, or for me it was when Ethereum was described to me for the first time at an unsanctioned rave in the 29 Palms Desert by someone who may or may not be on this call right now. The vision, not the vision, but really the unlock in human potential is what blew my mind immediately, and it was sort of describing like the human governance potential and upgrades that can happen permissionlessly, and sidestepping, bypassing corrupt legacy organizations was the moment for me that blew my mind and set me on a new course with a new focus. Was there a similar one for you? Was there one moment that you can recall that was like, this was it? It was this explanation or this moment that unlocked it for me?
Oh man, I think like for me, I'm a little bit of a like deep down inside, I'm like a Bitcoiner, like I love obviously Ethereum, like but I've like the core fundamentals of like what Bitcoin like teaches you, like to get out of the current like system. I'm like resonate a lot with. So I've listened to like thousands of podcasts about Bitcoin and like monetary theory, and like I think it's hard to like pinpoint one thing. But I think for me, it was like my first Ethereum conference that I ever went to. I kind of like saw that like you see that change. Like you come in, you're just interested in like learning about maybe this Bitcoin because it's really like making a lot of money, and it's like, oh, this is probably a good idea to learn. But then you start diving into like the cryptography aspects, and then you realize like, oh, smart accounts or smart contracts and like Solidity. And so that journey as you go from like Bitcoin to Ethereum, like some people, like there's a certain kind of person that's like, no, it's only Bitcoin. But if you can get past that, and when you go to an Ethereum conference and you see like people on the ground like communicating and like getting stuff done, and like at the hackathon they're like building. And I remember like the first hackathon that I went to for Ethereum, like some guys just didn't sleep, they were just so dedicated. And so I think there's a lot to say about that. Yeah. I mean, obviously people are trying to win bounties, but like generally speaking, like people just love the tech and they love the ideas, and it, yeah. So I think it's that journey to watch someone go through that, and come out of the other side as like, these are the things I care about. I'm going to stick to my guns. And I think that's probably it wasn't one specific moment, but it probably was my first Ethereum conference where I was kind of like, because I'd been to other crypto conferences, and obviously they're, the ones I've been to were like, oh, this is shill fest and, not really like cool tech. But when you get to an Ethereum conference, you're like, oh, so this is what it's all about. This is where the true innovation is going to happen, right?
There's an energy about it. I think ETH Denver and others, other conferences there, you can, if you're in attune and sort of apt to feel those things, you can feel the energy in the room. And that's something I was perceptive of immediately when I started attending ETH conferences around 21 myself as well. Václav, I know that it is late for you and that you have children waiting for you. Do you have any last questions or notes or comments before we say au revoir, sir?
Exactly. It's quite late, and I was trying to think about a good question, and I couldn't think of anything. So other than thank you for a very cool demo, a very cool app. I've actually sent a PR today, which is just changing README. So
yep, it's already merged.
It counts in my statistics.
Yeah.
But thank you for merging.
You were the first PR, so there you go.
Yeah. No, it's very cool. I would be definitely curious to see, like, I know, like, one thing I wanted to mention, just for kind of transparency, the video call that we did was not over Logos technology, right? We don't have technology for that, and I think it's important to mention that, just so that some other people do not assume. So I think that's a good promo for Spritz. Is it Spritz or Spritz?
Spritz, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's I think it's a German word, and then it's
the American
Spritz,
pronunciation.
but I don't know. Yeah, probably.
I like Spritz better, actually.
Yeah. But no, it's amazing. And it's amazing that you were able to build it in such short time. So that's very cool. And yeah, I would love to brainstorm like where else we can use Logos messaging, for example. I'm pretty sure that there are some places where it would provide more privacy, more decentralization, more censorship resistance for the cases. So we should definitely do that. Thank you very much for
Absolutely.
taking time to be here with us.
Yeah, and I'll be in, I think I'll be in Lisbon for Parallel Society as well. So I'm excited. Hopefully anyone that's there, please come find me. I would love to chat with you. And thanks so much for having me today.
That is amazing news. I will be there as well. And thank you, Kevin. I think this is Arseni, any final questions or thoughts from you before we wrap our session today?
I'm curious as to how you maintain like a consistent identity across all these protocols and across like all these options to log in. So, because like Vaslav mentioned, the chat uses Logos messaging, the direct chat, the video and the audio chat use a different protocol, and then you have all these different options. Like how does that work? How does it create this one singular identity for all of these?
Yeah, good question. So obviously, so there's currently 4 methods to log in. So Ethereum, obviously, I just use, so I key off of whatever the identity issuer says is the thing. So if obviously if it's a crypto wallet, I'm using their Ethereum address. If it's an Ethereum wallet, so technically there's 5. If it's Solana, I'm just using their Solana wallet address. If it's currently, if it is email or if it's passkeys, I am deriving an account ID for them because you don't necessarily get one automatically created. Working on a solution where basically, I think the smart account that gets generated will be eventually the user ID. We'll still have the existing ID that we create as like a reference. And then for the digital IDs, same thing. Like some of them, like Alien ID gives back a number. So it's basically dedicated to whatever the issuer gives me. Otherwise, I'm generating one using a hash of something to make sure it's unique.
Very cool. And then for like when you're listening for messages coming from Logos messaging, how are you filtering for which ones are relevant for that specific user?
So I believe the way I'm doing it is just setting up a room. So like even I think a chat direct message is a room, and then I'm just adding each of those IDs into that room. So I know there's some kind of limitation with how Logos, I'm trying to remember exactly how I did it. I probably need to get back to you on the specifics, but I believe that I'm just using basically a key that it gets generated, and then I think I'm storing that. I might be storing that in the browser session at the time, and it's derived, and then that's what links the things up. I would need to double check though. I don't have the exacts on me.
Cool. Yeah, we can always dig into the source code later.
Yeah, for sure. And I would love to get your feedback. Maybe we have another call and kind of dive into it and go over it. That would be useful because I do want to make it, well, first of all, as secure as possible and make sure I'm using the right methods for Logos messaging.
If you're open to it, Kevin, something would be exciting for us. Come back for a next for a future Logos Dev Club, and we'll do some vibe coding.
That'd be awesome. I'm down for that. Yeah,
yeah.
I love doing some vibe, and now it's just so easy. You know, with Opus, it's really fast, and yeah, it's really awesome.
So live vibe coding, even when the pressure is on. Well, yeah, I'll reach out. Maybe we'll put a time on the board.
Yeah. This has been awesome, though.
Yeah, Kevin, if there's any calls to action or places you'd like to send the viewers at this time, where can they find you? Where can they reach out? What would you like them to do?
Yeah, I mean, I would like everybody to go to Spritz.chat or app.spritz.chat if you want to go direct to the app. You know, install it as a PWA, log in. create an account. Feel free to add me. My name is Kevin. You can add me as a user. I'd love to chat with you. If you want to find me on socials, I'm cryptomastery _, on X. And yeah, I would just love for people to try it out. And obviously I would say it might have a bug. If you have a bug, there's a bug report. Please file a bug report. Let me know if I'm trying to add cool features as well. So if you create a bug report and you want a feature, just throw it in there. I would love to just figure out what people want and need on it. And yeah, thanks so much.
Awesome. Well, you heard him, folks. Go forth and test and try and check out Spritz.chat. Follow Kevin, cryptomastery _ on X. Thank you very much, Kevin, for joining us. Looking forward to some future sessions. And thank you all, the viewers who stuck around. Folks, if you have not yet, please visit logos.co if you are keen to visit with us in Portugal. PS, that's Parallel Societies, ps.logos.co, early March. The app is Spritz.chat. It features Logos messaging. He is Kevin Jones, aka Shutterblock.eth. This has been the Logos Dev Club. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you